Hello YouTube, welcome to episode 3 of Bright Lights. It's Damien, it's Sunderland, and it is the 1st of September. So the first thing I'm going to say is this, is the squad that we have now is a squad that we will have for the most of the year. They're all highlighted because I just rested them all. They did play in a midweek game. We'll get to that in a second. In terms of the injury front, we're actually, for the first time, actually pretty close to full strength for this game. A few people are still, injured, so to say, but we've done all right. There's a few people here on trials for frees. They're all goalkeepers. I'm just having a suss in the market. I don't think I'll actually buy a goalkeeper. But, most players that were injured for us at study are coming back to fitness. And most people that were slowly come back to fitness in the last episode, in episode 1, are pretty much ready to start. So we'll go through that though shortly, but we're going to get into some Sunderland fixtures first. As you can see, we're currently in 4th, and we're going to be playing Oxford today, who are in 6th. But if we go to the season preview, they've changed slightly. They still reckon it's us to win the league, but Oxford has come into evens now, and Fleetwood's dropped off a little bit because they have started slowly. So when I saw Oxford predicted to finish 3rd in the league and currently in 6th, and it's the first time that we have a game in September, being the 1st of September, I thought it made sense to do this game as an episode, even though it is quite, not too far away from our last episode, which is obviously the first game of the season. For us ourselves, since that Charlton game, that was also the last game of the stream, we played Luton 1-1. I played it last night while I was editing and watching some Twitch myself. It finished 1-1, a game away from home that we dominated possession, but every time Luton broke, they broke well. Love got injured in that game, but he's now back from injury. Story of Sunderland, injuries happening everywhere. But we played well. I didn't slate them in this game. We are going to talk about one team talk that brought a little bit of unrest with a couple players in the squad, mainly Oviedo, and Dylan agreed with him. It was the first time Dylan started in a game. But, I told them they were unlucky in this game, and you can see why. We played quite well. Bear Hill there scoring a goal for himself. I think that's his first goal for the club in an actual game, not pre-season. We then played Sheffield Wednesday in the Cabaret Cup. And look, I put this game on Twitter afterwards. I tweeted out a snapshot at the final whistle that we didn't dominate, but we didn't batter Sheffield Wednesday, but we were way the better team. We kept the ball around well. Every chance we created, we looked like we were going to score. It also was a game that I tweeted out because it reminded me to make sure I showed this goal. Thuram has scored his first goal for the club. Now, if anyone doesn't know, that's Lil Thuram's son, one of the 2 sons that are in Football Manager, and he has some wild potential. And I signed him up basically on the back of that, his Little Thuram's son. But this is not a bad goal. Now, the highlight does start a little bit too far away from my liking, so we are going to just move it up into here as we speed it up. But the ball falls at Thuram, and it's such a glorious strike to get us 1-0 up. And we were dominating at this stage, but couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And then the ball fell to O'Neill, into Duncan Watmore. Watmore put it over to O'Neill. O'Neill gave it to Thuram, who just smacked it first time into the top bins. If that's how he's going to play, I'm going to be playing week in, week out. With the injuries that have gone, the likes of Major, Barley, Thuram, they've all, come in and done the job that they needed to and started growing quite well. We then beat Scarlett 4th 2-1, and now this is the game where people got upset, is we did dominate the game, yes, but up until the 25th minute, they didn't have a shot, and then it was 1-1 until about after the 70th minute, and I tried to go a little bit more not defensive, so to say, but I tried to make a couple more defensive substitutions. The likes of O'Neill coming in there for Dylan. Dylan's more of a playmaking sort of player. O'Neill is not bad. He's Carrillo box to box. I think I put him as Carrillo, can't really remember. I put Luvens in for Bear Hill as well in the 84th because Bear Hill made a big mistake that McLaughlin bailed him out. And just in that last 10 minutes, they had about 5 shots and 3 clear-cut chances. And they really should have equalised with Scunthorpe. So when I got into the dressing room, I was a little bit... I didn't know whether to say, look, good win, well done. Or have I been here long enough now to tell you that, no, that wasn't good enough. We expect a high expectation. I went with that. And Oviedo came to me straight away and he's like, look, Damien, I'm not happy with that you've told us that. We played quite well. We played quite well as a whole, but in the last 10, 15 minutes, especially as a defensive unit, I wasn't happy with that. Obviously, you can see that Dylan agreed with him. I would go to Dylan's name. Be around these some influential players. Dylan going to be in there? He'd probably be in other players, wouldn't he? Because he's new at the club as well. I don't know. Dylan's around here somewhere. I can't see him. There he is. Slightly unhappy because he's supporting his teammate. There you go. But I promised him that I would make a better effort. So I reckon I'm just going to cotton wool team talks for a little bit. In terms of the in terms of the dressing room and the dynamics itself, in the hierarchy, Lee Cardinal obviously sits quite well. We're actually looking quite good, and the players are respecting me. I tried to do a coaching course, didn't happen. And then in the last couple of games that we played, we drew 0-0 to AFC Wimbledon. It was a game I was tempted to play because they were in 6th, but decided that if Oxford hang around in the top 6 and they didn't drop out, I was going to do the Oxford game, or else I would have waited for Fleetwood. But it seems like that. In the Cabaret Cup, we did have a scare against Doncaster. Now, in this game here, I rotated heavily as well. Well, not heavily, but rotated. And it took a 73rd minute Lee Cardinal goal to get us back into it in a game that we once again dominated but gave away far too many shots to my liking. So I think defensively we're not as strong as I would like, but going forward, Mudge is in some form, Duncan Watmore's in some form, McGeady is been quite a good player for us in most games except for this one here. But Maguire's now back and ready to start games, which is awesome for us. In the shootout though, Rutter made a couple great saves and we got through. We do have Aston Villa for the next one, but I won't probably show that game. Aston Villa very similar to Sheffield Wednesday, so I actually expect to maybe even beat Aston Villa and maybe show you the 4th round if we get through with a doubleheader with a league game, if we're looking forward to next episode. Now, into this episode, obviously for Oxford, it's a game where it's quite tight. No one's on international duty yet, but I've had to postpone games because I've got a lot of lads leaving on international duty. We're going to get into the team. The other thing I will say is I've set up a couple set piece routines. If I go to set pieces and corners, there it is. I've got routine run, which is not too bad on attacking corners. There we are, which is just crowding the keeper and putting the ball into the box. And then routine 2 is the same thing. I've actually got the aim for the back post and see if we can knock it down into this channel for our striker there, who's Madger. When Chris is out there, I could change this again because Chris is quite tall in the air. Madger is too, but I just feel like the knockdown into towards the striker, an on-rushing midfielder from deep. I've even got our advanced playmaker just to sit on the near post and maybe even create some havoc in this area where we're looking to knock it down into. It could work. This would be the second game that we did with it. We didn't really get a corner to test it out in the last game. So something to keep an eye out too. But anyhow, we're going to get Sunderland in against Oxford here. It's going to be 4th versus 6, obviously at the Stadium of Light. In terms of us and our team and how we're looking, Chris Maguire is going to get his first up back from injury. He's fit enough, and the game reckons that he can play 75 minutes. He might even play more. Duncan Watmore is still wanted, but playing quite well, and I think he is. Dylan is his second start for the since back from injury. Max Power's in. Lee Cardimal's back in. I could have played Turan because he's in some decent form, or Barley even can play in there. Chris is on the bench and can apparently play for about 45 minutes. So I'm looking to get him some game time for the bench for the first time this season as well. Reece James just comes in because of lack of injury. Lack of depth. There's a lot of people injured that I don't want to give, rush back in, like Flanagan, Gooch. Honeyman could sit on the bench, but I've gone for a slightly more defensive bench with this game in mind because if we have to hold out for a lead, James can come in and do a job. Loovens, Matthews and Love are so similar that I just swap them in and out. Matthews is in very good form, but I think, and so is Love, but I think Love offers us a little bit more going forward. Barley and Turan will probably come off the bench and feature as well. So that's the team at the moment. We do have a backup keeper in goals because of the injury to McLaughlin. But he, Robin isn't a bad deputy to have to McLaughlin. I think McLaughlin's got that slightly bit more about him in terms of being a sweeper keeper. But we'll be okay, and we'll get into it here against Oxford. Now, I'll be interested to see what sort of system Oxford use. They are using a 4-4-1-1. It's the first time I've seen it after managing in Australia and then pre-season. I haven't seen too much of it. There's a few names there that, you do recognise. I straight away look at Cameron Brannigan, who's probably on loan from... He's not on loan. Oh, yeah, that Oxford picked him up, didn't they? 200k. There we are. I thought so. I think that's quite cheap for Cameron Brannigan, by the way, being a Liverpool supporter. But there we go. Dylan, obviously, Powell, Cardinal. We've gone through this Sunderland side. Let's get into it, though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We should be winning this one fairly comfortably. I'm going to put some pressure on them because I do expect our squad to beat most sides. We're going to set the opposition instructions here. Just going to ask my assistant, who's doing quite a good job. And we'll get into it here. Obviously, at the Stadium in Light, it's going to be us in the red and them in the yellow. Can we get into it? Can we go in the rain here in England and get ourselves another result here against an Oxford side? Would I take a draw? It's solid, and our form has been solid. Away from home, we've been solid, getting a couple of draws, and I think we got a win there away from home as well. And at home, I don't think we've lost either. We haven't lost in the league, so we've been solid. Not much more that I can ask for. There is a team. Southend have won 5 from 5, so yeah. if Southend keep up that form, we will see Southend as an episode for this season. That is for sure. As Bear Hill, and we work it out, that's a good ball and a Duncan Watmore. Now, Watmore's pace has really seen him beat some men and get some good balls in here. But he lays it back to Love. He does get there. He put him under a lot of pressure. But Watmore's pace is going to keep that one in. Look at him go. Unlucky. It's actually fallen to Major, and Josh Major will score. Watmore's ability to get to that ball with his pace was absolutely lightning. To keep it in was sensational. To beat his man was great. I would have loved to see him lay it to Major in the end, but his shot was a decent save from their keeper. Just how he's got there, I don't know, but he beats his man for speed. He actually takes out free with his pace. And then the ball falls kindly to Major, and there we are 1-0 up. I don't think Watmore's going to get the assist for that, but, it was good from him. 15 minutes in, it's a free kick to Holmes. Hansen heads it. It's hit the post. Rutter, if you want to make a save there, just nice, easy collapse dive, just go catch that. That would have been nice, but no. Gives us a half-line. Can I just say, Oxford's had 7 shots in 20 minutes. That's concerning, but we'll be okay. Love, though. Onto Lee Cardamom. Fine is me, coach, Dylan. Just Dylan so much easier. Max Power, shoot, block. Back to Dylan. Love now. He's got some decent crossing. Love's ball, front post. Maja's there. Josh Maja doesn't miss too much. As a pressing forward, he gets in these areas, and I just love him. Banging goals in for us, and even when Chris is back 100% fit, he might struggle just to get in the team because of the form of Major. Now, the game did say that his second favourite to win Golden Boot is Chris, even with this long-term injury. That's a great header from Major, inside a post and in. If Major's in this goal-scoring form, which he is, there's no reason why we will take him out. Free kick to Holmes here. Holmes ball, back post. Hansen, look, Rutter really should have saved that. It's offside. There we go. It's not going to count, but really, Rutter should be okay. Oh, they've given it. I was about to say Hansen's not in, but they've given it for the 2 men in front of the keeper. I was going to say that's not off. I was about to say VAR would have helped him out. Obviously, VAR not in the lower levels. That's a ball in. Baldwin's going to knock that one in. What a ball that was in from Monviati. He's fizzed that one in there with a lot of curl backing towards the keeper, which made the keeper want to come for it. And then Baldwin just gone bang with his head. And that's 3-0 inside 30 minutes. It just highlights how good we are going forward. Oviator, what a ball that is. Mitchell, most times than not, when I see a keeper come for that, I would blame him. But I think Mitchell goes, look, if that is past everybody, that's my ball. But at the same time, you have to react and wait until it's right to come. So probably not Mitchell's best effort to come for it. But out of all the times you see keepers come for it on previous FMs, that's actually not a bad one, because you see that in real life, a keeper comes and they don't get there because the ball's curling into him. That was just a really good ball in from Oviedo. I'm very happy with how it's going, lads. Keep it up. Look, the back four playing quite well. Keepers playing quite well. The midfield 3 aren't having the best of games, but that's okay. Not even the wingers are, even though Watmore did one thing of magic and created a goal. And Josh, though, up front, can he get himself a hat-trick? If he gets himself a hat-trick, we'll just bring Chris on for the last 10 minutes is the plan, and just get him some match fitness. If not, we might just keep him out there to see if he can get his hat-trick, as they're going to win an early corner here, Oxford. And I would imagine we'll see this highlight too. But they'll be 3-0 up inside the first half. I'm very happy with that against a side that's awesome to give us some trouble in terms of trying to win the league this season. As Holmes gets on it, he finds Brannigan, the former Liverpool man, finds Hanson top of the box. But that would be the end of the highlight. I'm very happy how things going at the moment. Bear Hill's had a great start to his career here as he moves into a 7 at the club. I'm very happy with how he's playing. His Love throws it in, major flick on, max power, top of the box to Dylan. Oh, should have hit the target with how much time he did have on the top of the box. It was a powerful strike though. Corner, Holmes. Holmes' ball, back post, headed down, cleared away from Oviedo. He actually went for goal. Thought he headed it into the 6-yard box. Oviedo doing his job. Everyone at the back having a very good game. Our first change will be made. I'm looking at this. I know Dylan's coming back from a long-term injury. Max Power's 100%, so he can last out this game quite well. I'm going to bring Turam in there for Dylan and just move him as a central midfielder on support. Don't need him to defend so much at 3-0. I feel like the next sub I will make is maybe even Max Power. Just give both young midfielders a chance to play in the game that we are leading in. There's definitely... Definitely, maybe we could give Watmore a rest or Chris Maguire a rest because he's come back from injury. But, we do have international break coming up, so Maguire can get a lot of rest if he doesn't play in the internationals. I'm actually going to get Barley out then, just get him some growth as well. And I'm just going to move the 2 central midfielders, one on automatic, and I'm actually going to make Thuram just a little bit more defensive as we try to see out this lead. And we'll see how we go here. We should be okay here. And the last thing we will do is we'll get Chris in the last 10 minutes and get him up front for his first outing for the club. The game's been won now. I don't see him scoring. Chris is going to come in there as a target man on attack. And let's see if we can get him either a goal or just don't get him injured and get him some match fitness. As much as, yes, his conditioning's high, he's got like 40% match fitness back from a long-term injury. So just to get him out there would be okay. And it looks like time's going to tick away, and it's just a professional performance from Sunderland. We killed them off in the first half of a good first half. Second half, we just saw it out. And we have won. Nathan Della Finesso, what a name. A player back in old school FIFA with a lot of pace that you used to pick up for cheap. Anyhow, Sunderland 3, Oxford 0. Very professional performance in terms of us. Definitely going forward anyway. We did struggle a little bit at the back in terms of giving them shots, but, they were solid in terms of, maybe something to look at is analysis. Where did our shots come from? If we go to teams and we go to shots, select all. Let's go to Oxford shots. Look, a lot coming from in here, so I don't like that. I think Oxford really should have scored. 8 was saved by the keeper. We're actually going to go shot block, hit would work. Go to saved. A lot was saved by the keeper, so I'm guessing that, if we watch this one here, for instance. Just watch the highlight. Like, was this like a header that wasn't a key highlight or something? I don't think we saw this as a key highlight. That wasn't a key highlight. Okay, game. Apparently, that's not a key highlight. That's a great save from Rutter. Look, I'm very pleased with how that's going. Keep it up. That worries me when I see, those like that as well. Maybe that makes me think that we should move it on extended. If that's not a key highlight, that should be a key highlight. We might move to extended for definitely some live games as well. Maybe not when I'm playing by myself. I'm going to attend this press conference, but for everybody on YouTube, that's going to be the end of the episode. We discussed earlier where we're going to probably come back for our next episode as well. Please look at the Twitter as well, just so you keep updated. I will be posting screenshots of how we're going in the save. Also, link in the description to the Twitch. It is Saturday. I do have cricket. After cricket, I do have my soccer presentations. So in terms of me being able to stream tonight, it's not going to happen. Tomorrow is a maybe. I do have a lot of foot champs to play because it's delayed as well by a day, so that hurts me in terms of playing games. So it does depend when I can. There will definitely be episodes though throughout tomorrow as well. Before I go to work, I plan to get another episode out, and after work, I plan to get another episode out. So the content will keep coming here on the YouTube. So please do subscribe. Please do follow us on Twitch and Twitter to go check us out live. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, boys and girls. Hopefully you enjoyed that performance. It was a thoroughly good performance from Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. And this is Damien and Sunderland signing off. Thank you and goodbye.